Everyone, Dr. Phil again. It is Friday about 3 o'clock. And just tried to do a super fast video here of the knee joint. There's a lot of questions on it in lab. So I have 3 models up here. They're all pretty similar. Wanted to go over real quick. Sorry, once again, I'm in the micro room, so there's stuff all over. But here we go. So I don't know if you wanted to go from posterior or anterior, but they're all pretty much going to be the same. So just when you're orientating yourself, just remember you have to figure out medial or lateral. And if you don't remember, fibula is always going to be lateral, tibia is always going to be medial, and then we get to the distal surface. Graph my model here super quick. Sorry, he lost a toe in the car ride. Remember that you're going to have your medial malleolus and your lateral malleolus comprising that ankle joint. So talus, calcaneus, and then remember your cuneiform. I'll come back to that in just a minute. So coming back to this, in your lab practical, talus is going to be here. Is that sesamoid bone? This is the ligament. Remember this. Your rectus muscle here, all right, patella, and then you have the tendon going here. Ligament, sorry, attaching to the tibial tuberosity here, and allows that extension of the knee joint. So just remember, medial collateral ligament, lateral collateral ligament. Your meniscus is in here, depending on which model you have. It's always going to be in there. And I said in lab last night, all right, it's not really there for cushioning. It's really to keep this joint from shearing when you plan a plantar flex. All right, I'm going to flip these over and go over some of the structures the best I can. You want a better idea of what's going on. I think it's page 174 in your lab book should have some of this, right? But it's not straightforward, so I don't know how they're going to ask you any of these, but these are pretty much all they could clearly ask you, in my opinion, because nothing else is really, really clear. Even if it's in your lab book, we can't find it on the models. So just from the posterior, once again, you've got to remember medial, lateral. So lateral collateral, medial collateral. There's your medial meniscus, lateral meniscus. There's your cruciate ligament, how it crosses over. So I'll just read off. All right, medial and lateral meniscus. Medial, lateral meniscus. So that should be super easy. Your tibial tuberosity is going to be down here. This is where this attaches, and I talked about Osgood-Schlager's disease last night in lab. So tibial tuberosity, if I were to pull this away here, would be that attachments point right there. Okay. So you're going to have your patellar surface there. Once again, it's going to be hard to tell which is, if the bone is just laying there, which is superior and which is inferior, but you should know that this is the posterior surface because it's going to fit in that groove, and it keeps the patella from tracking. All right, that little V groove in there, it's going to fit right in between those condyles. So patellar tendon ligament, depending on the model. There's your patella in here, and these are the ligaments. And so if they mark either one of those, you'll know exactly what that is already. Right. Fibular head. Should be super easy. Right. It's going to be right there. Which fibula is going to look sort of like the ulna, but it's going to be longer. Right. But if it's on the model already, you know this is tibula, fibula. All right. So don't make up words. Tibia starts with a T, fibula starts with an F. They're very similar. So if you don't remember, don't make up a word and want half credit. Right? These are the only time that spelling is a little bit crucial with these. So when you come to these, you could, in my opinion, and I'll give you credit, I will always call this medial collateral, lateral collateral, or your sheet here says tibular collateral or tibial collateral. So either one is correct. Your lab book calls it one thing. I learned it as something else, but in the medical field, we're going to know whether you're talking about lateral collateral, medial collateral. Medial is going to be tibula. Lateral is going to be fibula. Either way. All right. Patellar ligament is in there again. So depending on what they tag, right, you'll be able to figure that out, hopefully. So, oh, all right, so for oblique collateral ligament, on my key here, it's number 12. So it's going to be this here, right here, right here, or right here on any of these models. They're very, very similar. So it's oblique, you know, it's going to go from medial to lateral. It's oblique. The best I can tell from the diagrams, this is going to be what they're calling the arcuate ligament up here. So it'll be either here, this little piece here, this little piece here. It might be hard to see unless you zoom in on that, or this little piece in here. So it's just realize it's going to be more anterior. And I told you last night, these are really designed, one's anterior, one's posterior, to stop the tibia, the femur and the tibia to track anterior, posterior. And here's definitively your posterior cruciate ligament. Right there. Here's your oblique. Okay, so I hope that helps somewhat. So these, like I said, any of these models, they all look really similar. This one allows us to move here. This one I like because I can move it here and show the tibial tuberosity there. So I don't know what they're going to tag. You know, we haven't decided yet, but it's probably going to be medial collateral or tibial collateral, fibia collateral, lateral collateral, posterior cruciate, oblique, all right, or one of the meniscus is there. So either way, you should be fine. I'll go over this later when we start talking about some other joints. And just while I have the camera rolling and no one's calling me. All right. I was going to go over the foot. This actually is a, oh no, not the, yeah, I think this is the real one I put together. Okay, so there is the foot. So just realize palaces or policies, I'm sorry. All right, so these are going to be numbered. So you're going to really need to know the talus. That's going to be important. Calcaneus. And the only one's going to be tricky, navicular, right, and cuboid. Cuboid's going to be here. So cuboid's going to be lateral, right, And I said last night, I adjust this on a lot of runners. So it's cuboid, navicular, and then you're gonna have your cuneiform. So they're just gonna be really go from medial to lateral or lateral to medial. So you're gonna have that medial cuneiform, intermediate, and your lateral. All right, so it's not gonna be that difficult. So once again, you're gonna have the talus here, calcaneus is here, and the Achilles tendon touches here, and you have all the ligaments on the bottom of your foot here. So once again, this is going to be your cuboid here. So this is the cuboid. Navicular is always going to be medial. Okay, and then you just have your cuneiforms. So you can medial, intermediate, and lateral. Medial, intermediate, and lateral. Cuboid, navicular, talus, calcaneus. Also, while I had it out, I just want to show everyone. Okay, that's the scapula. This is actually a real scapula. You can see, if I hold it up, you can almost see through it. That's how thin it is. And remember, once again, this surface is going to be really smooth because it has to glide across the rib cage to your spine of the scapula, supraspinous, infraspinatus. All right. You guys kept telling me it's a glenoid cavity. I know it's a fossa because it's not that deep. But this is what it looks like in real life. Super thin. If I drop this, it'll probably shatter. There is a real, hopefully almost the ulna. Okay. There is an actual real radius. Just for the sound effect, these are actual real bones. Totally different sound. All right, I will see everyone Thursday.